series hosted by History Society Sakshay and IQAC. The Graduate Scholars Talk series is an invaluable resource for graduate students, helping them to expand their knowledge, refine their skills, and vision of the topic they wish to deliver here. By enriching the academic environment and promoting community engagement, the series is not only shaping the minds of future leaders, but also positively influencing the broader surroundings. And the credit of it all goes to our very hardworking moderators, Mr. Shubham Tiwari, Mr. Saurabh Singh, Mr. Ajay Gupta, Ms. Samriddhi Kanpal, Mr. Shailendra, Mr. Manthan, and by Manvi Saraswat. And to our advisor, Dr. Manish Karmawar. Now, it's time to introduce you to our very young guest of honors for today. So, we collaborated with DAV School of Kailash Hills, New Delhi, and from there, two of our speakers, Miss Sonali, spoke on bullying, and Miss Avni on young minds and mental health. So, we decided. We decided to try something unique, and as today's topic resonates with around parenting and child psychology, so we would be talking about their experience and their remarks in the end. So, childhood experiences, they really shape who we become. When kids grow up with love, support, and positive reinforcement, they tend to develop strong self-esteem, good social skills, and emotional resilience. They learn how to handle stress and build healthy relationships. On the flip side, kids who face tough situations like abuse, neglect, or family problems, they often struggle with emotional issues, low self-worth, and mental health challenges like anxiety or depression. The good news is that early intervention and a supportive environment, it can make a big difference, helping kids overcome these challenges and grow into healthy, well-adjusted adults. So let's dive into this very crucial issue where our speaker, Ms. Salma, would be presenting her views on the topic, the enduring psychological impacts of childhood experiences and parenting on adult life. Salma, the stage is yours.
Thank you, Manvi. Good evening, everyone. My name is Salma Thampi, and I am currently doing my master's in clinical psychology from Uttaranchal University. Before I begin, I would like to thank the GSTS for this wonderful opportunity. Dr. Manish Karmwar sir, founder and advisor, and Samriddhi, Ajay, and Manvi for supporting me throughout this process. My batchmate Vaibhav Chauhan for introducing me to this wonderful initiative. And special welcome to Saloni and Apni. I'm glad you're here. And a big thank you to my friends and family who have showed up. I see you, and this means the world to me. So I was also asked to share where I'm speaking from. So I am in Kerala right now. We are at about 25 degrees Celsius today, which I know is a very stark contrast from the scorching heat in Delhi. So let's quickly begin. I'll be sharing my screen. Please let me know if everyone can see it. Manvi, it would be great if you can confirm once you can see my screen.
Yes, it is. Good to go.
Right. Okay. So today I will be speaking about the enduring psychological impact of childhood experiences and parenting on adult life. Now, before we begin, number one, trigger warning. Childhood experiences may have been good and bad for several people. And anybody who has faced any sort of traumatic or painful child experiences may feel a little triggered by the talk today. Also, before we begin, I request you all to please keep pen and notebook with you. Reflect and think about your childhood and notice the memories and emotions that pop up while I speak. Notice the uncomfortable feelings and maybe jot them down. So, first of all, I am requesting a little bit of interaction here. जो जब आप childhood के बारे में सोचते हो, when you think of children, आपके मन में कौन से words आते हैं? Like, what are the memories or words that pop up into your mind? Please put it in the chat box, and I request Manvi to read them out to me because I cannot see the screen.
Okay. Okay. So we have happiness, carefree, stress-free, good days, enjoyment, friends, innocence, joyous emotions,
Right.
curiosity,
Okay.
birthdays, hopeful, inquisitive. There are many responses.
Okay, I'm glad to see we have such a lovely interactive audience today. I'll just take a few words from there. So, this picture that is created in our minds is of a child who's happy, carefree, stress free, having a lot of good days, enjoyment, birthday parties mein ja rahe ho, you're innocent, you have friends with you, which is all very real and true. But what I want to ask you is this the experience of childhood that each one of you had all the time? क्या आप बचपन में हमेशा खुश थे? क्या आप हमेशा स्ट्रेस फ्री एंड एक्साइटेड एंड encouraged about everything? क्या आप वैसे थे? Or we could look into a deeper picture of childhood. So I think anybody who has studied psychology would know this fact that there are these mental health disorders like depression, anxiety, PTSD, borderline personality disorders, substance use, obsessive compulsive disorder, eating disorder, bipolar, schizophrenia. In sub disorders, there is one common factor. And what is it? It is that one of their major causes happens to be childhood experiences. So we see two realities. One in which we have a picture of a child being happy, carefree, stress free, and another of an adult showing up with severe mental health disorders whose causation can be connected to childhood experiences. So, what is this picture in between that we're missing out on? Also, the very fact that we have a field called child psychology, where we study children in detail, tells us that children are complex with big emotions, big experiences, and we need to take them seriously. We need to stop dismissing their emotions and belittling what they feel. So, today I'm going to help you take a deeper look into the picture of childhood. To begin with, let's understand parenting. Like, I believe there's a past and current context shift in how we see parenting. As Samriddhi had very recently pointed out to me earlier, there was this saying that if you spare the rod, you spoil the child. अगर आप बच्चे को नहीं मारोगे तो आप उसको बिगाड़ रहे हो. So earlier it was believed that you have to discipline the child, you have to show them tough love to make them learn something. But with research, with analysis, we have realized that most of the millennials today, most of the adults today show up to a psychologist or psychiatrist with mental health issues, with chronic anxiety, stress, and depression, with no cause to be not known. We have realized with research and analysis that if you spare the rod, then you save the childhood. So that is what I'm going to be talking about today. Number one, let's quickly dive in. I'd like to look into the evolutionary perspective. आपको पता होगा कि कोई भी animal हो in this world, say horses, frogs, deers, turtles, all of them, when born, are capable of surviving on their own. But humans, on the other hand, happen to be the most helpless infants in the planet. Evolutionarily, humans cannot survive without their parents. So, a positive relationship with caregivers ensures safety, nourishment, and protection. This brings me to a very interesting concept of moral defense by Ronald Fairbairn, who says that this is a very clever survival adaptation. That children are not wired to hate their parents. They are basically incapable of hating or blaming their parents when they are children. So let me give you an example. Say your parent has had a very tough day at office, a fight with the boss or a colleague. They come back home irritated and pressurized, and they see you doing something, maybe creating a ruckus, causing a mess, and they scream at you. They get angry. They might even punish or hit you. So what happens here is that the child is incapable of seeing कि मेरे parent आज गुस्सा है because of some other reason. My parent has had a bad day and is displacing their anger on. What the child sees is that I have done something wrong to deserve this. If my parent is angry, they cannot be blamed. I am worthy of this anger. I am worthy of this pain. So we often say that the biggest fear for kids is not darkness or monsters under the bed. It is the fear that my parent doesn't love me. Now, to this, many people say that, how can I not love my child? It is an obvious fact that I love my child. Even if I hit my child, obviously I love my child. What I need everyone to realize here is that obviousness does not apply to children. Obviousness comes with experience, and children do not understand what is obvious and what is not. Number two, the concept of self-talk. So let me give you an example here. Say एक हमारा exam हुआ है and my friend Vaibhav and I appear for the exam. मेरे को 50 में से 20, I get 20 out of 50 and my friend gets 20 out of 50 as well. So there can be two approaches to this. Say Vaibhav says that, okay, I got 20 out of 50 this time. I'm not very happy with the marks. I will try again. I'll try better next time. But what if I am someone who starts blaming myself, who starts saying कि तुम ऐसी क्यों हो? Why are you so stupid? Why do you keep doing this to yourself? Why do you have to be such an idiot about this? So what is the difference between these two scenarios? It is the self-talk. And where does this talk come from? So when we are born, we are not born with a voice in our heads. As we grow up, you'll realize that the way you talk to yourself, जैसे आप खुद से बात करते हो, जो चीजें आप खुद से बोलते हो, it is often something someone around you might have said to you as a child. So there are different ways you develop self-talk. Number one is direct. If there has been a critical parent, teacher, or sibling who has continuously told you that you're dumb, you're stupid, you're lazy, it becomes the voice in your head till the day you die. Number two, indirectly. So these things do not have to be said to you directly. Say if a parent is constantly observing the weight of others, body weight of others, and telling things like, साइड वाली आंटी का बाजू वाली आंटी का वेट देखो कितना बढ़ गया है, वो बिल्कुल अच्छे नहीं लग रहे हैं. So as you grow up, what happens is a child's brain is like a sponge absorbing the language, emotions, and attitudes of those around us. This was said by Lev Vygotsky, a psychologist. So what happens is that when you grow up, you look at yourself in the mirror and you speak to yourself in the same tone. Ki, I have gained weight. That makes me unworthy. I need to lose weight. I need to control my food. And many other concepts like this. Number three, society. The society has so many conflicting ideas that women should be feminine and sweet, men should be masculine and unemotional and should not cry. And these things become the voices in our head. Even when you grow up, even when you're a professor in a college and you're successful, you would still, when you make an error, end up talking to yourself in a very harsh way. You would say, why did I not do this better? मुझसे ये गलती क्यों हो गई? Why am I like this? Because this is what you heard as a child. My question here is, if we know that every sentence we say to the child around us today is going to be the sentences that they repeat to themselves until they're 70, would we be gentler to the kids around us? Number three, the body remembers. So for a long time, it was believed that you're supposed to hit kids to teach them a lesson, to make them understand what is right and what is wrong. And there are parents and there are adults who often justify this by saying that the physical pain of hitting is not very huge from an adult's perspective. So we don't need to be worried about it. But I'd like to bring in a research statistics here. According to the National Institute of Mental Health, if you've been a child who was exposed to punishment, hitting, or explosive anger, you're at a 60 to 70% higher risk of developing chronic stress, depression, and anxiety disorder. Hitting a child is not a mere fleeting moment for the kid. For example, if my teacher decides to hit me for a mistake that I made, first they pick up a stick. And there's a process that follows. When I see the teacher walking towards me with a stick, my body goes into alert mode, the fight or flight process. And when the teacher reaches near me, my hands start shaking, I feel fear, and cortisol and adrenaline stress hormones are released in the body. When the teacher does hit me, I may feel a mix of emotions such as sadness, fear, the feeling of being unsafe, betrayal, anger, and a lot more. And over time, such experiences lead to a cortisol and adrenaline disbalance in the body. And we end up having adults with somatic symptoms like muscle tension, headache, migraines, stomach cramps, sleep issues, digestive issues. And these people go to the doctor, and the doctor is not able to give them a causation for the disease. What we need to understand that this is called psychosomatic symptoms, that is a result of any sort of trauma that the body might have endured. Number four, I find this very interesting. It is called the attachment style theory by John Bowlby and Mary Ainsworth. So, क्या होता है कि when you're a child, your interactions with parents teach you कि how do you behave in a relationship. आप एक relationship में क्या expect करते हो from a friend, from a partner, boyfriend, girlfriend, anybody you know. So there are different attachment styles. Number one is the secure attachment style. For example, if you're crying about something and your parent notices, वो आपके पास आके बैठते हैं, they ask you कि why are you crying, they hold you, they let you share your emotions. That means they have been reliable and present. Now, an individual who has had a parent like this in their adult relationships would be able to give and receive love. They'll be comfortable opening up to others. They don't shy away from commitment and intimacy. Another option here is the anxious attachment style. So what happens in this scenario is कि मैं if I'm a kid and मैं रो रही हूँ and मैं बहुत ज़्यादा रो रही हूँ and I'm not getting attention, so I start crying more in an exaggerated manner. I start screaming and shouting, and if I finally get my parents' attention after that, what I learn is that I have to cling and cry to get attention. This forms the anxious attachment style. So adults with this style would need a lot of reassurance. Ki, do you love me? Do you care for me? Can you promise you won't leave me? And they struggle with distance or separation. उनसे long distance relationships, long distance friendship maintain करने में बहुत problems होती हैं. Number two, these are the kind of people who might become clingy, controlling, or demanding. The third attachment style is the avoidant attachment style. Continuing the same example, if the child keeps crying for attention, keeps screaming, and the parent still does not give the child the attention or the time that they require. So the child learns कि अगर मैं रोते रहूंगी तो मुझे ज्यादा दर्द होगा because कोई आने नहीं वाला है to save me. So I will internalize the pain. I will handle it on my own. I will not depend on anybody. Another way this happens is when parents praise self-reliance. कि मेरा बच्चा तो बहुत शांत है, बिल्कुल नहीं रोता, बिल्कुल, he does not create a fuss. So what this teaches you is that you have to be self-reliant. You are not supposed to show your emotions to others. Now, as adults, these people end up feeling very independent. They tend to pull away from commitment or intimacy. They're unable to share their emotions openly. They cannot ask for help, and they do not trust others. So उनको लगता है कि मुझे मैं सबसे दूर रहूंगी क्योंकि नहीं तो a relationship with someone, closeness with someone can cause pain for me. Brings me to the last form of attachment style, which is the disorganized or fearful attachment. This is one of the most damaging form of attachment. इसमें क्या होता है? If a parent is abusive in nature, if a parent hates or scolds or has explosive anger, so the child feels two different emotions for the same parent. एक, I love my parent. They care for me. I am very close to them, and it is just an instinct to love them. Secondly, I am scared of them. Sometimes they hit, sometimes they shout. So when you feel this limbo of emotions, what it leads to is a very mixed up feeling. So there's no safe space to go. So people like this, individuals may end up turning towards addiction as a coping mechanism, drugs, alcohol, etc. So as adults, these people may have two different extremes. Number one, being so afraid of relying on people, getting hurt, and they want commitment, they want love, but they're scared of it, or they become so close to people, they become extremely clingy and they don't know how to let go. Number five, fear of failure. Quick example. Say I have an exam in 3 days. So I start talking about it today कि यार मेरे 3 दिन में पेपर आ रहा है, then tomorrow I'm like 2 दिन में पेपर है मेरा, 1 दिन में पेपर है मेरा. I keep worrying about it, but I don't start studying till the very last minute. I start studying, कल पेपर है, आज रात को I start studying. So now people who observe me might say कि Salma, you're lazy, you don't care about your education, you're not serious enough. But what if I do care? What if I really am hardworking? So, this chronic delaying is known as procrastination. And among many other causes for it, one can be that as a child, you were given a lot of pressure to be perfect. अगर आपको 30 में से 28 marks आए, तो somebody probably asked you, why didn't you get 30 on 30? Your friend got 30, your friend got 29, why did you get 28? So there's this pressure कि मैं कुछ करूंगा या करूंगी तो मैं सही करूंगी. तो if I do things, I have to be perfect or I can't do it. And this pressure, this fear of failure leads you to procrastinate. Another thing that happens here is perfectionism. You want everything to be 100% perfect. आप room कितना भी clean कर लो, you will still feel कि कुछ कमी रह गई है. You can be a professor in a college, you can give a great speech, and उसके बाद all your colleagues come and tell you that you did a great job, but you'd be like, नहीं, मेरे से वो एक गलती हो गई थी. I missed a word, I made a mistake. You focus on the errors and you cannot appreciate yourself for the good things that you're doing. Number 3, hesitation to explore. If I were to give an example, see, let's say a child is trying to pour a glass of water for the first time in their life and they're doing it for a parent. So, pani gir gaya, like a mess is created, water falls everywhere. So, the parent sees that, and the first thing the parent does is scold them. In the parent's understanding, they are scolding the child to teach them discipline, to teach them that creating a mess is a problem. But what the child learns is that if I try new things, I will make a mistake, and mistakes make my parents mad. So I should not be trying out new things. As an adult, what this leads to is that you're someone who's afraid of trying out new things. मैं stage में जाके बात नहीं करूंगा because I've never done it before. मुझे डर लगता है. I cannot try dancing because I've never done it. It is scary. And I will not do it because I'm afraid of making a mistake. This brings me to the final factor that I'm going to be talking about, the socio-economic and cultural factors. तो कोई भी discipline क्यों ना हो, I believe without looking into intersectionality, without looking into the interdisciplinary concept, it is incomplete. So we can't just focus on the psychology of a child, we also need to realize the socio-economic and cultural factors surrounding them. अगर एक बच्चा एक पॉवर्टी या इकोनॉमिक इंस्टेबिलिटी या एक मार्जिनलाइज्ड ग्रुप से बिलोंग करता है, they will feel chronic stress and anxiety. They will always be worried about the roof over my head, what clothes am I going to wear. My parents are constantly worried about putting food on my table, and this leads to impaired cognitive development. This affects their intelligence, this affects their attention, and also emotional regulation. इससे लॉन्ग टर्म मेंटल हेल्थ इश्यूज हो सकते हैं. And this can also affect your self-esteem and identity. When you're constantly scared and constantly worried and you're seeing कि मेरे दोस्त कितने अच्छे कपड़े पहन रहे हैं, but I cannot afford that. You go to a friend's birthday party, you go to a big home, and you worry that I cannot call my friends to my place because my place isn't as big and beautiful as my friends. So these things lead people to internalize inferiority. So even when they grow up, even when they have a successful life, they will constantly feel like they are not good enough. They're not as good as their peers. Now, of course, there will be some cases of children developing resilience in the face of adversity, and they come up with very healthy coping mechanisms. If I were to give an example, Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar ji, one thing we need to realize here is that childhood experiences and trauma, adverse trauma, does not only come from parents, it can also come from the society. If we see Ambedkar ji's case, we would notice that he had so many painful childhood experiences in school where he was isolated, he was made to sit on a gurney bag and not with his friends. He was not allowed to drink water from the same container that others drank water from. He was not allowed to travel in the bullock carts, horse carts that others traveled in, and he had to walk a long way to even reach school. So these experiences can really adversely affect people and the way they turn out in their adult lives. Now, Ambedkar ji was an inspiration and exception to the rule who changed the world and history as we see it. But there are several cases of kids who, because of their adverse socio-economic and cultural factors, turn to substance abuse, aggression, social withdrawal in their adulthood. There was this internship that I had done at a rehab center, and there we learned that when we meet addicts, we do not ask them, why do you drink? Why do you use drugs? We ask them instead that, what are you running away from? What is this emotion, feeling, or memory that you're trying to repress by turning towards drugs? Now, the things that I spoke about was just the beginning of the conversation. It was just the tip of the iceberg. There is a lot more to look into to understand how childhood impacts our adult lives. So, if we were to look deeper into the picture, I feel schools, parents, and adults need to come together, create psychoeducation and awareness to give a safe and nurtured childhood to the kids growing up today so they do not turn into adults with major anxiety and depression disorders and issues. Secondly, we can understand child psychology and use its aspects in policy making, school syllabi, teacher student relationships, and more. Secondly, what can you do? I'd suggest become curious. When you feel like you're feeling a lot or overreacting to a situation, say a friend insults you about your scores, start thinking, why is this affecting me so much? Where in my childhood have I felt the same way? I also strongly recommend talking to a psychologist because we need to break the stigma around the fact that you can only go to a psychologist if you have a major mental health disorder. You can also go to a psychologist or a therapist if you want to understand yourself better. If you want to know कि मैं ये चीजें क्यों करता हूँ, मुझे समझ नहीं आता है, why do I do this? And a psychologist would hold up a mirror in front of you and help you understand why you do the things that you do as an adult. Now, if you were interested in the concepts that I spoke about today and you want to learn a little bit more about it, I strongly recommend this book, Your Pocket Therapist by Dr. Annie Zimmerman. It is actually one of my most favorite books, and I carry a copy everywhere, and I recommend it to everybody that I know. I recommend that you give it a read and reflect based on it. Before we end, I'd like to take 2 minutes to ground ourselves. I feel this may have been overwhelming with a lot of emotions, a lot of information condensed into 25-30 minutes. So if this talk made you feel overwhelming emotions, I request you to please talk to someone, a friend, a family member who can hold your emotions, or take a diary and write your thoughts down. We'll end by doing a quick body scan, which is a very short meditation. I request all of you, wherever you're sitting, please close your eyes. Take a deep breath in and breathe out. I would request you to focus on the soles of your feet, the part of your feet touching the floor, and consciously tighten it and let it relax. Now focus your attention to your entire legs. Feel them, tighten them, and let it relax. Keep your eyes closed and direct your attention towards your stomach. Feel the emotions there. Is it tightened? Do I feel something in my stomach? And slowly take a deep breath in and let your stomach soften. Now direct all of your attention to your chest. Put a hand on your chest. And if you're feeling any sort of heaviness, pain, or any emotion in your chest, imagine physically taking it out with your hand and directing it outwards. Now focus on your neck. Breathe in, breathe out, let it relax. Focus on your face now. Your eyes, your lips, your cheeks, your nose. Slowly breathe in, breathe out, and let it relax. Whenever you're ready, I would ask you all to open your eyes. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Salma. In the last meditation, it was actually beneficial for me because I was not feeling good. And seriously, as today is International Father's Day as well, so your topic and your talk, it totally resonates with it, and it's such a delight to listen to you. So we are having some questions from our inquisitive listeners. So we would be taking them one by one. So first we have question from Manthan, and he's asking what interventions or therapies have proven effective in addressing the psychological impacts of negative childhood experiences in adults.
Manthan, that is a great question. I'm sure there are several types of therapies that can help you with it. But what I am aware of and what I really believe in is the psychodynamic approach, the psychoanalytical approach, which believes that behind every action, there is a reason, and that reason may be present in your childhood experiences or your unconscious thoughts. So the therapist works with you to slowly unravel your childhood memories, emotions. It may be difficult at first, but it will slowly help you heal and have a very better, very much healed version of an adult life.
Okay. Next question we have from Shalim. He is asking, how do childhood socioeconomic status and parental education levels they impact the adult psychological resilience?
Right. I'm sure there are a lot of statistics that we can look into to understand this better. But I feel psychoeducation would help the parents really understand the childhood impact and how it is going to last with the child until they grow up. So if we make parents aware of the impact, they'd be more conscious about their parenting and the way they talk to their kids. And the socioeconomic impact, as I explained earlier, can have multiple effects that we really need to look into.
Okay. Next question we are having from Samriti. She's saying, do you think that at times individuals tend to point out either of their parents in a particular light? Say, for instance, a lot of daily life conversations hint at fathers being the stricter and more controlling parent and mothers as gentler ones. So, which actually might not be the same for all people. So, what are your views on such conceptions?
That is a great question. I cannot speak for everyone because I feel everybody has had their unique experiences with their parents. But if I were to connect it to my talk today, I would say that what we can understand is that the father was also once a boy who may have been told to, not cry, not show their emotions, to be strong, and these things, and they would not have been taught a way to emotionally regulate. So these people as adults can be those who only know to show their emotions through aggression and anger. While on the other hand, mother who may have been a little girl, again, this brings us back to the social impacts and the social construct. Mother may have been someone who's taught to make their emotions smaller, keep it to themselves, address it themselves, do not externalize it in forms of anger or aggression. So these patterns often show up in parenting because parenting is also a reaction to how you have experienced your childhood. So what you can do is go to therapy, talk to someone, become very conscious and break these patterns so that we can give a better childhood, a more nurtured childhood for the next generation.
Okay. We have another question from our guest of honor, Sonali. She is asking, how can children develop a positive coping mechanism to deal with the abuse and hardships that they have faced in their childhood?
Wow, that is a very, very good question. So I feel there's a lot of pressure on kids to do a lot of things, including this coping mechanism that you're talking about. I feel the first thing that you need to do with your very big emotions that you feel as a child is to actually give it space, to sit with it, to feel it, to talk to someone about it. And once you're validated, you find a safe space to discuss it. That in itself brings in the resilience. You have to feel the pain first. You have to talk to someone who's a safe space, and then they can help you slowly recover from it. So resilience requires the emotion to be felt. So that would be my 2 cents on it. Thank you, Sonali.
Okay, so the next one is a tough question. I see it is how can we mend if a person has problem with his parents and visit his home due to his childhood memories? So how to mend those relationships?
First of all, I am sorry that you have an experience like this. Thank you for talking about it, for asking this question. I feel there's no one answer to it. This is certainly not a simple thing to answer. But what I'd say is the goal is not to mend the relationship or, fall in love with your parents or start hating them. It's not so black and white. What we can do is have acceptance. We need to understand the impact that our parents have had on our childhood. And the goal is not to blame them, to say that हर गलती मेरे माँ बाप की है. The goal is to understand कि अच्छा उनके ऐसे करने से मेरे पे ये impact पड़ा है. Am I willing to forgive? Am I willing to understand what has gone wrong, while also understanding कि मैं कैसे heal कर सकता हूँ? If you need space, you need to take that space. There is often this pressure in our adulthoods. You need to have a perfect family. You need to always be connected to your parents. That's not true. You need to make peace with your own reality. Like one example I generally give people is like, for example, I love my mom, right? So she is carrying a cooker, bolo bahut garam cooker, and she's walking around and she burns me galti se, and she walks away. Now, just because I love my mom, I'm not going to ignore the burn, right? I'm not going to say कि नहीं मेरे को मैं अपने मम्मी से बहुत प्यार करती हूँ तो मेरे को burn हुआ ही नहीं. I'm going to do two things, two realities. I love my mom, yes, but there was a burn that she caused which needs attention. So we need to find that balance, that acceptance, and maybe we can grow from there. And therapy again would be very helpful. I cannot stop talking about that. I cannot keep saying enough.
Okay. We would be taking one last question. It is, in Indian style of parenting, parents for the longest of times, they have believed in the philosophy of spare the rod and spoil the child. So do you think this type of parenting has space in modern times?
Honestly, I am personally very, very against it. And I don't know if it has space in modern parenting. I hope it does not at all. I believe with psychoeducation, we can teach parents, we can teach adults that sparing the rod is the best thing that you can do for your child. Because the one time that you hit your child or the multiple times that you hit your child is the memory that the body keeps, the body remembers. And as adults, you'd see people who are, scared of loud noises, scared of a balloon bursting, crackers gilte hain, crackers bajte hain, so they get scared. If I raise a hand for a high five, people get scared. What we need to realize is these are adults who were very scared children once. And जैसे ये psycho education होगा, ये facts आएंगे, so we'll be able to give our kids a better childhood. It's not that those parents wanted to give us a difficult childhood. It's just that they did not know any better.
Okay, thank you so much, Salma. I hope that all our audience have got their answers. And one last question is from my side. I would be asking, what's your experience about our platform and with the team?
Before I say that, I just saw a comment that says that you should have met my mom years ago. Yeah, that made me laugh, but I understand where that's coming from. Also, my experience with GSTS has been so beautiful, and I'm not saying it just for the sake of saying it, but from the moment I filled up the Google form, the kind of attention, the kind of care that I was given, I received multiple calls from, say, Samriddhi, the first level where we discussed the idea that I was coming up with. Then I had a very detailed call with Ajay where he, asked me questions in different ways to make me understand the concept. And he wanted to check if I am very strong about my beliefs on this concept. And in fact, this socio-economic factor that I've added is inspired by him. And of course, Manvi, who has responded to 100 texts of mine to help me understand, to give me confidence. So it's beautiful. The process from the beginning to the end, I'm really impressed by how you all make it work. And also, of course, Sir's valuable feedback, the test call that we have had. Honestly, I have enjoyed this experience and I would recommend more and more people to give this a shot.
Okay, thank you so much, Salma. Now, it's better to ask the reviews and experiences from the ones who are themselves children right now and students. So, I would be welcoming our guest of honors for their remarks. First, we would be taking the remarks of Miss Sonali.
Thank you so much, Manvi ma'am, for introducing me. And thank you so much, Salma ma'am, for taking this topic. Because, ma'am, in this era, still childhood trauma and the problems that a child are facing is still a taboo, and not everyone talks about it openly. And thank you so much. And while you were talking about your topic, the fear of failure, it was just so relatable to me that the fear of failure that I have had, because from my childhood, since I was in LKG, UKG, I I was, a bright child. So everyone just grew up their expectations from me. Everyone had expectations from me that I would do well in every field, in my academics, in co-curriculars. So from that point of my life, the pressure was starting build up, and now currently I'm 12th. Everyone is just excited. One They want me to top in this school. So that a fear of failure, that what if I disappoint them, that pressure is building upon me. And now also my father is listening to me, and taking care what I'm speaking right now, when what should I speak. So that constant pressure, and you know the they're constant eye, they keep their eye on me, on my every step, if I'm doing something wrong or right. So they are there to guide me. But that guidance, their guidance is mostly like expectations. So I actually fear that what if I disappoint them. So thank you so much for taking this topic and talking about the things that a child face, and how this childhood trauma, the expectations go in their go in their adult life.
Thank you so much for speaking up, Sonali. I understand that this is a very difficult emotion, and I'm sorry that you have to go through this pressure. I think this is very common in kids today, and also a very sad thing. What I would like to tell you, and most adults who are listening in, is that what we can do to help our kids with this fear of failure is to shift our attention and focus on what we are complimenting, what we are encouraging. Say Sonali got good marks in her childhood. She used to participate in speaking events and co-curriculars. Instead of congratulating her, कि Sonali, very good कि आपको full marks आए, या very good that you got the first position. What you can compliment is effort. कि it's so good that you showed up. आपने try किया, आपने participate किया, and that is success. So even now, like now that you're sitting here today, it does not matter what you're saying, how you're saying. What matters is that you're brave enough to sit here and speak. And जैसे आप 12th के boards दे रहे हो, the fact that you're studying and the fact that you're showing up for the exam is your success. Marks कम ज़्यादा होंगे, that in future you will really, nobody really cares about. What they care about is कि do you have a degree? Did you write the exam? So you do that and slowly work on this pressure. And I hope you feel a little better about it. All the very best.
Thank
Thank
you
you
so,
so
so
much,
much.
ma'am.
Thank you so much, Sonali. And we all relate to you in some or the other way, especially if you're eldest in your home. So we totally relate with your talk. And I would be now calling Avni for her remarks.
Thank you so much, Manvi ma'am and Salma ma'am. Your talk was amazing. I would just like to say that this was very much needed, and you presented all the topics brilliantly, including moral defense, various factors, and obviously fear of failure as we experience till now since childhood. The parents are not at all satisfied with whatever we give to them, whatever marks or whatever achievements we give to them. They are not satisfied. They want more and more. So basically, understanding this topic is very crucial, according to me, for fostering individuals as well as the community. And Obviously, from the presentation, it's clear that secure childhood attachment leads to healthier adult relationship and better stress management skills and obviously that reduces the risk of mental disorders. So this presentation has eliminated how our early experiences shape our mental health. All in all, it was very informative and very well explained. Your research on the topic was very thorough and insightful. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Apni.
Thank you so much, Abdi and Sonali, and thank you so much, Selma. It was really a very interactive session. So moving forward, now I would like to invite the speaker for next week, Mr. Gaurav Dwivedi, to present a brief about his topic.
Here a question. Hello. Hello. Hello.
Yes, yes.
Here a question. Why you are the leave the geographical effect on childhood? You are describe a socio-economical effect on childhood. Why you are leave the geographical effect on childhood? The India is a very difficult geographical country. So the effect of the socio-economic changes, there are the very area, the different effects. Here a question, IMC
Yes, Salma.
that the metropolitan
Salma.
city.
Yes, yes. Dr. Satan Singh, yes, she's taking your question. Salma, can you give a brief remarks on Dr. Satan Singh's ideas? Okay.
I think, yes, Dr. Satan Singh, I think that is a very good point, the geographical aspect. Like I said, I have not covered a lot of concepts. It's just the tip of the iceberg. And yes, I'm certain the geographical aspect, where you come from, the kind of resources that you had as while you were growing up, also affects the emotions that you feel and the way you grow up to be an adult, your self-esteem, the education that you receive. So that is a very good point. And thank you for contributing.
Okay, so Gaurav, please present your objectives regarding your talk next week.
Yeah, okay, okay. I am presenting. So good evening, everyone. I am Gaurav Dwivedi. Currently, I am pursuing my graduation in political science from Satyavati College, Morning. And I would like to introduce my topic. My topic is totally based on socio-economic and political characteristics of Bengal. Now, there is a saying that what Bengal thinks today, India thinks tomorrow. And what was Bengal before independence and what is Bengal after independence? This is the my main focus point. And that after independence, how it was changed and how it is changing. And I would like to examine the socio-political and economic life of Bengal, including culture, daily life, and etc. And how it was connected to Silk Route in ancient times, and how it was developed in culture, industries, small and minimal industries, and at all. And there is a statement that the intellectual minds of India was produced by Bengal, like Swami Vivekanand, Swami Dayanand Saraswati, Sir Aurobindo, and Sir Rabindranath Tagore. These were the intellectual mind. And also Bengal was the main enlightenment place for India since independence. Means in ancient times, there are many consequences of Bengal that so that Bengal accumulated the cultures, and it was totally means the textile center of India. These are the my main topic.
Okay. Thank you so much, Gaurav. And I hope that for this interesting topic about Bengal, you all will join us next week. As we are coming to the end of our program, I want to wholeheartedly thank each one of you for taking the time out of your busy schedules to join us today. Your presence and participation, it has truly enriched this event. Special thank you to all the teachers who are here with us today. Your unwavering support and encouragement, they are instrumental in motivating us to pursue our goals with greater dedication and enthusiasm. So in the end, I would be inviting Manish sir for a vote of thanks.
Okay, so really, what a wonderful evening. This term I use for the so many GSTS talk. Okay, so here I have two or three work to do. So first, I'll invite few of my faculty members, my colleagues from the different colleges, and a few of my senior scholars from the departments. Okay, so in this regard, I want to take three quick remarks by three different faculty members, one from Shyam Lal College, one from Bharati College, and another from the Lakshmibai College. So first of all, again, because Professor Mala ma'am is here. So Mala ma'am, what's your quick remark? After that, Dr. Uma, and after that, Dr. Akriti. So if Mala ma'am, if you are here, so can you give us a quick remarks about the Salma's ideas and how you perceive her idea in the future? Over to you, ma'am.
Good evening, Salma. Good evening, others. Salma, your presentation was, I think, out of this world. मैंने किसी और साइकोलॉजिस्ट की इतनी इम्प्रेसिव प्रेजेंटेशन आज तक नहीं सुनी है. So I'm thoroughly impressed, and your presentation was so informative. इतना कुछ सीखने को मिला है. I could recollect my childhood days. I could recollect when my kids were young. So all those instances came into my vision throughout your presentation. So it was great, it was wonderful, and very informative. So good work, GSTS. Keep it doing, and we continue meeting every Sunday.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. So, and
Thank you
thank you. And Professor Mala is teaching commerce. So, one of the part of the commerce is behavioral commerce. So, maybe they used to teach all these things. So, thank you, Mala, ma'am, for your kind support and one of the pillars of this GSTS. So, I would like to invite Dr. Uma from Lakshmibai College and so, Dr. Uma, are you here? So, can you give us your remarks and some idea about the Salma's talk? Maybe she's only connect and left the phone somewhere else. So, okay, it's fine. This is another psychological problem, people in this virtual world. So I move to Dr. Akriti, if you are around. So can you give us some idea?
Yes, sir, I'm here. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you, Salma, for this fantastic talk. Actually, I'm not the specialized person to say or comment about it, but as a history student, I have read about many psychologists as Sigmund Freud, Jean Piaget, and others. But what I was thinking that the idea of psychology, child psychology, stress, anxiety, this is a very modern phenomena. And when I'm saying this, because it started around 19th century in America or in Western world. Why? Because they have this kind of upbringing there where they don't pay attention on their kids. But in India, when we are talking about psychology or child psychology, it started around 20th century in India when we were actually struggling with colonialism. So I guess when we talk about India especially, so we had this kind of tendency in our society where we have seen child marriages. So I think when child got married and when they became parents, I think they are also not aware how to, how to be a good parent or what will be the techniques of parenting. But now, due to course of time has changed, so I guess people actually are trying their best to change in their parenting methods. So that's the one thing. And second thing, I think when we talk about trauma, stress, and anxiety, and I'm sorry I'm using these words, but we should, stop victimizing ourselves. And why I'm saying this? Because we have seen this global phenomena talking about Me Too movement and other movement, and so many things are going on. But we see this psychology also changes with the time, of course. As I'm saying it, when I'm a kid or somebody is a kid, he has a different psychology. But when he became adult, he has a different psychology. And when he became father or parent, he has a different psychology. In that phase, he is also trying to understand how their parents used to behave. Like he's not in that age, he's not criminalizing his parents, as because he's also going through same experiences or same life. So I guess these are the points which I want to make. I'm sorry, I'm because I'm not the specialized person, but I tried. So thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Yes,
Dr.
now,
Manish,
yeah, Dr.
Dr.
Uma
Manish,
is here. Yes, yeah.
yeah, I'm Uma, this side from Lakshmi College. Great to hear from Salma. And that was fabulous, fantastic. Words are less, I think, to express the way she has presented, the impressive talk. And she has not just covered one age group, she has covered almost all the age groups, I should say. And if we are talking about parents, they are in different age groups, and the way they treat to their kids, that matters a lot. And in that too, when we are talking about the society where family they are moving towards from joint family to nuclear family, if the parents they are talking, if Dr. Satyansi he spoke about the geographical reason, I think being a teacher I always experience in the class that the students who are coming from the rural areas, from generally the state differences are there, the cultural differences are there, so even that also matters. It's not only about the peer pressure or how the parenting is done in the family, but it is about the migration and the way they are developing that kind of relationship with their friends. So all these and the kind of development and the social media, the most important point that I feel that social media is also having the impact on the mental psychology of the students. How I am looking, how my appearance is, that how I'm speaking, what is my family, whether I can invite my friends or not. I just heard your each and every point that was so relevant, and the way you spoke and presented, I think it was suitable and understandable to all the age groups. So my heartiest congratulations. You spoke so well, and I would like to talk to you. Maybe I would like to invite you in my college to speak on this topic. That is a very important topic, I should say, at the current time. Thank
Thank
you.
you very much,
I
ma'am.
was
Okay.
not able to unmute myself. That's why I was not able to speak. Thank
Okay,
you.
okay, okay. Thank you, Dr. Uma. So I've invited another two of my listeners. Subin Mohan is raised hand. So, Mr. Mohan, you want to say something? Okay. So I can lower down. Okay. So and Anushka Das, Miss Das. So you want to say something, Miss Das? It's fine. So I can call one of my student from okay, Kalpana is here. So Kalpana, Miss Kalpana Dhyani, you want to say something?
Good evening, sir.
Good
Thank you,
evening.
Salma, for such an interactive session. I was not able to join from the starting portion because I was not feeling well. But from the point I entered, you were answering the questions very clearly, and you were very clear about your thoughts. And after listening to such good remarks about your talk, I'm sure you have very well presented. And congratulations. Thank you.
Okay, okay, Kalpana. So thank you very much. So it's my time, 120 seconds to wrap up this session. Okay, again, Salma Khamti, it's a really great presentation. By presentation, why it is just a fantastic presentation. And though the two young kids, not kids now, they are the guests of honor, Ani and Sonali. Fantastic, because that was my idea, but how my team executed this idea, because early this is the first time we have invited these two kids, but suddenly I thought this is the right time to introduce. The age is not the bar to become intellectual. This is my idea in the whole of my life. It's not that you are the 70-year-old so you are wiser, And you are 20-year-old, so you are not you are a fool, just like parents deal with their kids. Okay, and today is also Father's Day, and we had a discussion with Salma, and we had talked about the why the in the northern India. I don't know. I researched on the southern part, but I don't know about the southern father. But northern father, the people are accusing father more than the mother. Maybe that was the other side of the coin. But otherwise, Salma, really, it's a fantastic. But today you are too short because when you interact that day, your presentation was too long. But you shortened due to this platform like GSTS. And thank you. You were studying at Dehradun or Uttarakhand, and you're from Kerala. So, okay, we are reaching towards the Kerala also. And before you, one Dr. Sabu Thomas from the Kerala University, he was the chief guest, and he known to me from last so many years. And he worked on the South India, Kerala, Karnataka, and Andhra and Telangana. So thank you, Salma, to give us a reach toward the South. It's not political; it's a social, cultural, and geographical term. I'm talking about talking about all these things. Okay, so it's time to vote of the. Oh, okay, and my idea about the stress, because every time I heard about the fear of failure and what are you running away, these two terms are very familiar when and whenever I listen the some stress boosters and these kind of talk. The fear of failure, everybody is failed. Everybody's like failed in their life, because what according to Buddha, the pain is the most important part and parcel of life. Sorrow is the most important part and parcel of the life. 99% part of life is sorrow. But we are not looking about the small happiness that we suppose that lift when you go to the lift corridor and lift is open, or you go to the bus station and just bus has arrived. So what I'm trying to say, happiness is very try to find out happiness is in small things. Suppose that today 5 to 6, Kalpana and Manvi they were not good, but try to become happy to listen Salma's idea. So this is happiness. This is happiness, and if you are happy, this is the most important stress booster. So the happiness, ultimately happiness is the most important stress booster, because India 99% people are living in not a good and conducive atmosphere. Definitely, I mean it. Got your point. Oh, okay, I'm looking towards the professors way. We are having good salary, but still having here and there the problem as a student, as a non-net student, as a non-GRF student, non-PhD student. So everywhere is a problem, but the solution is happiness. And I'm very much into the idea of Akriti, that these are the Western side of concept. These are infused in the Indian society so much, but I'm not denying Salma's contribution towards the stress boosting, but happiness is the most important part and parcel. Look, from last 3 years, I'm happy. The most happiest thing in the 5 to 6 when I listen to young scholars and the guest of honor. So really, it's a gives me a booster for the coming 1 week. Okay, and the most important thing for me when I interacted with my student, this is the most important life. This is the happiness of my life. So find out your happiness, not negative happiness. It's a positive happiness. Thank you, Salma, for giving us your wonderful idea, and two young kids, Avni and Sonali. So all the best for your future life. And so many faculty members are joining from different part and parcel of Delhi University. And this time, at least 10 participants from the Kerala also. So thank you, Dr. Geeta, also a proud mother of Ms. Salma. So thank you very much for joining us. And it's Father Day, so obvious. My daughter is too young. She's doing BCom honors first year, so and she's not here. So this to the recording, she must present here to listen this psychological idea and how to build up, how to away from the stress, because examination is going on. But still, people are give us 1 hour to part of GSTS. Thank you very much, all my graduate, postgraduate, MPhil, and PhD students for the coming and listening us regularly. And Thampi and Dhyani. So kindly give this idea to other students also, and those who are having this kind of conversation. We have a registration form. Kindly fill the form, and our team definitely reach out towards the 24 hours. So thank you very much. Have a nice day. Have a great day. Happy Father's Day, though the International Father's Day. So thank you all for joining from the Shyam Lal Evening College also. So many faculty members are joined here. So, okay, it's time to leave. We are 300 seconds late, but topic is too inclusive. That's why I talk a little more. So thank you very much. Happiness is the key of whatsoever. Try to become happy. Whatsoever, try to become happy. Thank you very much. Moderator Salendra and Manvi. Always fascinating. Samriddhi, Ajay, and three of my core moderators, they are appeared for the UPSC examination, and otherwise they are preparing for the PhD. Samriddhi is preparing for the PhD. Manvi and Salendra, they are preparing for the and Manthan also for the MA entrance. Thank you everyone for joining us. Have a nice day. Thank you.